To the WAN show. Alt-tab extravaganza.
We alt-tabbed the WAN show.
Yeah, exactly. So the WAN show's gone, but don't worry, you can get it back. Simply press Alt-tab again. No problem.
All good.
So, for those of you wondering what the heck is going on, here, do you want to scooch over this way a little bit? And
this is weird.
Yeah, I know. The couch is kind of uncomfortable on that side. Like, it kind of leans you out of the frame.
It does, actually.
Yeah, this is why we can never quite... Okay. See, and this one, because this shoulder goes back away from the camera,
it's really
to get
weird.
The spacing right is actually quite difficult. So, some of you may or may not have picked up on this, but I am supposed to look like Paul from Newegg TV, and he's supposed to look like...
Kyle.
Kyle or
Pauly D.
your resemblance to Kyle is over 9,000.
Oh, there we go. Oh my goodness.
Apparently I really do look bald. Yes, I do. I can even give you guys a closer look at it.
Hey.
Oh, sorry. I got my sound on my laptop here. Let's turn that off. So this side's not as good, but this side is like pretty bald looking. She only had about 50 minutes with me, or maybe about an hour and a bit, hour and 10 maybe.
Yeah.
So we had a friend of Brandon's come in and make us up here, just because it's part of our fundraising campaign for our new office. You can find it over at New Office. Actually, I should post this. newoffice.linustechtips.com, where we've got a bunch of other perks the more people contribute to the campaign. So Twitch,
which does include that mineral oil computer. If we hit 50K.
Yeah, if we hit 50,000 raised for the new office, then we will actually be giving away the mineral oil PC that we just built to one lucky viewer.
Yeah.
So guys, check that out. We've got a bunch of other campaign perks, but as you can see, we did reach the WAN show made up as Paul and Kyle one. We did our best to make him look like Kyle. And
I feel like the result ended up, we talked about this before the show went live, but the result ended up me being Pauly D to a certain degree, and you are the principal from Community. I want to know if everyone else is like that, but like I think that's basically spitting image. If you put him in like some really weird costume, and then the like neck up is exactly the same, looks like principal from Community.
The Twitch chat is just spazzing out.
Mine's broken, unfortunately. I wish...
So yeah, guys, we've got a lot of great topics for you today, including but not limited to Parrot's new Bebop 1080p drone that looks like Parrot assertively going back after that consumer-grade drone market that they released a couple products and then they'd been kind of stagnant in for a while. Well, now they're coming back with some gusto. We've also got Twitch. You know these guys, like on my t-shirt. Twitch buys Alliance, Evil Genius, and Team Tinker. So a broadcaster for esports.
It's like ESPN owning a football team.
It sort of is. Well, hold on. We'll get into it later. What else we got?
Well, we also have Intel, IBM, and Qualcomm speaking out against net neutrality. We will talk about that later. Also, 103 fans, all tested in the ultimate fan showdown of all time.
It was over Okay, sorry, I'm done.
It was over 103. Actually
it
no,
was
it
exactly
was very specifically 103. It was over 102. They should have called it the 102 plus fan showdown.
They totally should have. Over 102 fans tested. Oh, I love this show. The entire Twitch chat is just like, WTF is this? Our sponsors today are lynda.com. No matter how bad we look, we won't look as bad as their mascot. I love their mascot. Lynda.com is about learning, not checking out the sexy book reading lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, speaking of checking out the sexy, we have a sexy new sponsor. It's iFixit. And we're going to tell you what iFixit is, as if you've ever been on the internet and don't know all about iFixit. Well, apparently they think you might not because they're sponsoring our show. So we can tell you guys all about them.
Which is pretty awesome, Sauce.
Wow! Wow, that joke was so bad it hurt my hardware.
Yes! That was completely unscripted and it was fantastic.
I love it. All right, so let's kick things off with the 103 fan showdown, shall we? This was posted by Ming on the forum. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys here. And Luke, do you want to take this one away?
23. Scroll down a bit. There was 23 companies worth of fans tested, and 103 fans total. They're all tested. All the fans tested were 12 centimeters, and on the screen right now, you can see the best performers in the different categories. So, obviously, if you follow the source link through on that forum,
yep, hardware.info, guys.
Yep. But these are kind of the oh, okay. These are the winning contenders as of right now.
All right, so some of these categories really aren't that meaningful. So noise level at 10 centimeters. It's like, obviously, some doofusy 500 RPM fan is going to win that because it's the quietest. I mean, you spin the thing faster, and you get more noise from air movement alone, let alone just the motor spinning. And then maximum airflow, same thing. You spin a thick fan. I mean, these are, I believe they're 35 millimeter thick fans. Ultra Kaze 3000 RPM fans. And then you spin it at 3000 RPM. Like, it's like, I could make the highest RPM fan. I would just simply attach a jet engine.
Yeah. Part of a plane. There you go.
But there are some other very meaningful numbers. So power consumption doesn't really mean that much in the sense of like, oh, I have to buy a higher end power supply because my fans are not that efficient. But it does tell you a little bit about the efficiency of the motor design, which is definitely a strong indicator of goodness. And then the other really important ones are going to be your airflow on a radiator at 12 volts and 7 volts. And the winners there, not that we were rooting for them, and not that we had anything to do with this testing, but that fan that we keep recommending, Noctua
to put on radiators.
NF12, the one that we keep saying, we put this on radiators in our standardized testing. And when I say radiator, I don't just mean liquid cooling radiator. Nope. A CPU heatsink is technically a radiator.
Yep.
Radiates
heat.
It's radiator. So Noctua NF12 Industrials won both airflow at 12 volt and airflow at 7 volt. Now, to be fair, some other pressure optimized fan designs don't spin at 3000 RPM by default. And so this doesn't actually necessarily tell us how the regular NFF12 stacks up against other similar stock RPM fans, but you guys should definitely check out the whole article because, it's some pretty
There's
good
so
stuff.
many fans tested. It's interesting, but reading more on it is a very good idea. Yeah, I would recommend following through with that one.
So I've been told that due to my makeup, I may not drink from my water bottle the way that I normally would. I have to use a straw.
Oh.
An evil straw.
Why does that make any sense? Do you have makeup on your upper lip?
Well, I have makeup on my lower lip.
But if you put it on top of your lower lip...
Yeah, I'm not a very good drinker anyway, so...
So it's just drinking skill deficiency.
I'm sure if someone looked back at enough WAN show archives, they could find me pouring my drink down my shirt. I'm just
There's so many of them that probably...
Sure. Yeah, it's probably happened at some point.
Yeah.
All right, so this is looking pretty exciting. Let's move into our next topic here, the Parrot Bebop drone. I'm going to go, if you want to go ahead and throw that link in there, let's go ahead and watch the video because this thing looks B.A.
I'm not even super down with watching videos on WAN Show too often, but this one,
This is looking pretty good. So it's got a processor in it that is 8 times more powerful than the AR Drone 2. It has GPS, so you can actually have it take off from a given location and then land back there. This footage that they're taking from the drone is unbelievable. Look how high it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the old AR drones had these height limitations that were just felt very consumer grade. Very, very consumer grade. But this is something else. I mean, this is the kind of footage that normally you'd have needed like
a helicopter.
Yes.
Like that, a helicopter, 100%.
Unbelievable. What else we got in terms of specs here?
So, okay, there's a few things that are going on. There's that GPS navigation that you were talking about. One thing that I noticed when looking through their documentation on the actual site, if you... we've got the video running, so we'll
check it out later.
But when you're setting up the GPS navigation, it looks like you might be able to set the elevation as well.
Wow.
I'm not necessarily entirely sure, but as there's different points that they've plotted on the map and numbers on those points, I'm assuming that's something to do with elevation. Yeah, altitude. You can set altitude, speed, all this kind of stuff. So you can set the route speed in between your different dots, then you can set the elevation at those dots, so it'll go at a different speed to that location. Really cool, because if you're trying to get a really specific shot, you could set it out and be like, oh, I want this one section to be a little bit slower, I want a little bit higher of an angle, and just set it out again, which is actually really cool for little kind of more like amateur filmmaker people that aren't going to get a helicopter.
And look at this control module that they've got available for the iPad. Freaking love this thing so far. And compatible with first-person view glasses. That looked an awful lot like an Oculus right there.
Yes,
this is looking like some pretty cool stuff. So it can see 180 degrees. It records at 1080p for video and can take 4K photos, which is just... No, we don't... Parrot, we do not use K for photo resolution. That is not how this works. But I appreciate the effort nonetheless. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, okay, so it supports MIMO AC wireless, so that's 2 dual-band antennas, so that can handle 2.4 gigahertz and 5 gigahertz. Just like previous AR drones, or whatever, Parrot drones, it generates its own 802.11 network, so that's how you can use your tablet or phone to get a first-person view of where it's flying. And this thing looks absolutely
One
bananas.
thing that I really liked when I saw this was actually very specifically that controller. The GPS plan and all that kind of stuff was kind of cool, but I think everyone saw that coming. One really big complaint that I've had about a lot of Parrot products in the past is the fact that you're using like the touchscreen crap on your mobile devices.
Yep.
Because it's just kind of junk. And like trying to control something with this graphical based joystick is usually just really frustrating, to be completely honest. And then with that new tablet control screen kind of thing, with it looked like joysticks on each side of some sort, maybe one of them was throttle or something, but just more granular control with actual real controls, and then just having more of the networking and the video and stuff going through the iPad, I think makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, that looks fantastic. So this was posted by Ah Ming on the forum. The new Oppo R5 is so slim that it can't even have a headphone jack. So that is it next to what appears to be an iPhone 6 or an iPhone 6 Plus or something along those lines. So it is basically the exact width of a micro USB port. No more, no less. It's $450 unlocked, so you will need to plug your headphones in via the micro USB port on the bottom using the adapter that comes in the box. Now,
or Bluetooth.
We've talked... Okay, yes, Bluetooth would also work. Now, we've talked about micro USB and how, sure, it's a perfectly good connector rated at however many insertions, but the problem is that if you rate it at X number of insertions in a lab versus...
That doesn't have anything to do with how people are actually going to treat it. You shove it in your pocket, it's going to torque. You plug it in and then throw it on your bed, and it's going to bounce on the cable, torquing it, and then dropping the phone on. Like... I don't know that many people that actually treat their phone as well as they probably should, including myself. So there's more problems than that.
And now, you want, every time I plug my headphones in and out, you want me to plug it into the micro USB. I mean, $450 brick is more like it, because this thing is not going to be useful for anything.
And like we constantly say on the show, like, iPhone, why did you make it slimmer? It didn't need to be slimmer. We would have rather there wasn't a bump on the camera and it had a bigger battery. And they're like, oh yeah, let's just release one that's just as slim as the plug. Yeah. That's awesome. Even everyone wants a slimmer phone. And like, well, meanwhile, all consumers are like, please don't make a thinner phone. They're like, oh no, we got this.
One of the things I like so much about the Droid Turbo is the fact that it fits in my hand.
Yes.
My hand is not this
comfortable
shape.
Weight is a thing.
This is not a shape for a hand. I mean, the hand in the picture is a shape for a hand. The phone is not a shape for a hand.
Yeah.
But hopefully that came across correctly. If not, I fixed it. Now, I had actually reached out to Paul and Kyle about potentially Skyping in. I have no idea if they're like around right now or what, but we can see if they're around. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here. So, oh no, that's not it. Wow,
We're skipping over specs for the phone because it's dumb.
Yeah, we actually don't care. Were people asking about that?
I don't know. I had the specs up and I was like,
AMD released their Omega drivers. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. You want to post the link? So, what are Omega drivers, you might ask? Well, a number of years ago, I might have told you that the Omega drivers were a set of alternate drivers available for both AMD and NVIDIA that had a few extra options enabled in them, and you know, some customization and sometimes some performance tweaks. Well, no, AMD, no, we do Omega drivers now. The Omega driver is the first of a new concept of drivers from AMD that, according to my conversation with them, basically amounts to thorough testing of the driver. Like really thorough testing of the driver, both internally at AMD and externally, with a dedicated feedback system where people could let them know about any bugs and fixing bugs as quickly as they could, as well as a slew of new features. So you can download them, assuming you have an AMD graphics card or an APU.
well, you could still download them.
You could still download them.
They would just not be very useful.
Yeah, they would not be very useful. But if you have the hardware that it goes
Then
with
it's
them,
very useful.
then it can be very useful. So you get support for virtual super resolution, which is similar to
It helps with stuff like downsampling. You can render at a higher res and then downsample. That's essentially what it is.
so it's basically super sample
Yeah.
anti-aliasing, which is basically the same thing as NVIDIA's dynamic super resolution. I don't know much about AMD's implementation yet. Like, I know that NVIDIA is applying a smoothing filter to the finished image. What I can tell you guys though is that you can't it's DSR and VSR. Like, AMD and NVIDIA, can you either just call it the same thing?
Yeah, which would be fine. I don't think anyone would really have a problem with that.
Or just don't. Can you just... Please. So, virtual super resolution only goes up to, I believe it's 34 something by something. Anyway, NVIDIA is able to upsample or downsample from 4K, and AMD can't quite do that on the current hardware because I don't think this is something they had in mind. It's something that they've added based on customer demand and based on the performance that's available on the scaling hardware on their processors. So it also adds 5K monitor support, and I've heard from Dell. Apparently, we're going to be getting a sample of their 5K display.
Ooh, nice. Oh, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
excited now because I want to see what you think about that versus the iMac.
Yeah, so we can try that out. My iMac thoughts might be... Oh, no, we're going to be doing the hardware upgrade probably sometime next week. Okay. And then I've already got most of my thoughts compiled for my iSwitched. So that'll probably come the following week or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It's got support for Alienware's graphic amplifier doodad thing that plugs into the back of one of their notebooks, so you can use an external graphics card or whatever. Sure. It adds some video picture enhancements, perfect picture additions, 1080p detail enhancement now for APUs. I don't know too many people who use those things. I've never met anyone who's used any of those
Not a single person.
Someone probably does somewhere. Let us know.
Yeah.
Twitch chat, we want to hear from you.
We should do a straw poll.
Yeah, do a straw. Let's hit it with a straw poll. Do you guys use the video playback enhancements in your graphics card driver? Want to hear from you. So there's been some... What? Oh, you spelled it wrong.
Oh, it's...
Yeah.
P-O-L-E?
You're good right there. All right.
What? How did I spell that wrong?
So frame pacing enhancements for AMD dual graphics. So that's where you run a low-end graphics card and an APU in Crossfire, which basically nobody should do, because even with frame pacing improvements, the cost to performance compared to just buying a better graphics card, you know, the number of people who put, like, I'm gonna go even worse than this episode of South Park that just ended the other day, and I'm gonna reuse South Park's joke that they reused mercilessly. And I'm gonna say the number of people who post comments on my low-end video cards rant, it's ignorant. It's ignorant. Because people are like, oh, Linus, you didn't think that maybe people only have this much to spend. Actually, yeah, I did. What I said...
Wasn't that a huge point of the whole video?
Yes, it was. What I said is $80 to spend is not the right amount to spend. You either spend another $20 or you spend less. It's just fine to have a lower budget. I think I may have even brought up, or maybe it was just a comment I posted in reply to the video, that buying used hardware is an option. And then people are like, well, what about offices? They're not going to buy a bunch of used hardware. Well, they're not gaming anyway, so they should be buying not an $80 card. They should be buying a $40 or $35 graphics card.
Basically, whatever you can get that has output on it.
Yes.
Because they're probably just doing that for more monitors.
All right, what else we got? Mantle API activated for ultimate performance in Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth. And Assassin's Creed Unity, Dragon Age Inquisition, and Far Cry 4 performance enhancements. So, aside from VSR...
oh yeah, that was the right one.
That is a that
took me a second.
That's a pretty big improvement. Super sampling is a big deal. Other than that, it looks like we've used it.
We used it.
I don't have any
was
complaints.
Featured in the crew video.
Yep, and
I didn't notice like a ton of like I didn't install it and then this hair happened. But I didn't. There was no crashes or anything. So like I have no complaints about it, which is good.
Which is all there should.
That's
really...
what you want from a driver. You don't want to complain.
It should not get in your way.
Yeah, I don't want it to bug me. It didn't. It didn't crash. That's perfect. That's fine. No complaints. I don't have like extensive testing with it yet. But wow, a lot more people use it than I thought.
So were we just completely wrong and we suck?
I don't know, because wow.
Oh no, that's really not that many. Okay, here we go, guys. So
20% is still way more than I thought.
Okay, you're right. 20% is a lot more.
I expected
than I
like
thought, too.
2 or maybe 0.
Oh, that's like hanging in the frame here.
It's because normally I'm over there.
Yeah, and you're a lot further from the camera. Yeah. This makes me look really small.
It does.
I have to like.
You are sitting forward, and I'm sitting. See, if I sit like you, then it's like.
All right then.
Hello.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next topic then, shall we?
Yes.
I don't think I ever.
Now the yes vote is like flying upwards, so I don't really know if I trust this thing at all.
Yeah, you guys might.
Because I don't really think 25% of people are using the picture improvements from AMD.
Yeah, especially given that they just added them for some stuff. So unless you've already grabbed the Omega driver,
and then specifically was like, look at these pictures. I don't know. I don't believe you guys. It's already up to 26% now. Speaking
of look at the pictures, Metal Gear Solid 5 has the first gameplay footage shown. So we can go ahead and... this was posted by Olek King on the forum. There is some good news. So the first thing that I personally noticed about this is look at those settings options. Whatever these things are... We can adjust them lots.
Those things on the side, they have a lot of granularity to them.
Yes.
All right.
You know, there's off, low, medium, high, extra high. I'm liking this.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
And then apparently you can run it at 3325 by 1871 if you want. Because, sure.
Because sure. that should start being like patch notes for certain games. Why did you guys patch it this way? Because sure. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. There is a 60 FPS lock. At least it's not a 30 FPS lock.
Yeah. That's the only positive thing we can say.
Yeah, no, seriously. But like, there's certain games where it's like 30 FPS lock cannot be like edited through a text file.
Breaks game physics.
Yes, yeah. You go double speed if you unlock it, or whatever crap EA did with Need for Speed. But like, at least it's 60, not 30. It's still stupid. Really stupid, but at least it's 60, not 30.
I can't stop staring at myself in the preview window over here. I look so weird.
Seriously, have you ever watched Community?
No.
You like really look like the Dean.
Oh.
Like, okay, give me a second.
All right, I'll head over to our next topic here. So Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes will be available starting the 18th of December 2015. That is kind of striking.
Yeah, like he just doesn't have a goatee in this one.
Right. So if I just had no goatee and I was a little paler, then I'd be pulling this off pretty well. Speaking of games and release dates, The Witcher 3 is delayed again. This was posted by Johners on the forum, and this is not the first time it's been pushed back. Nope. Now, you know what's really funny about this is CD Projekt Red came out and kind of, in a move that mocked I have to assume this was targeted directly at Ubisoft and EA.
Good.
And in a move that mocked those other two companies, basically said, yeah, we're going to include all of our launch day DLC in the game for free. I have to, and you know how EA, and I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second. You know how EA and Ubisoft always say, well, you know, yeah, launch day DLC, blah, 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 it takes more time, etc., etc. Hold on. I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
CD Projekt Red committed to include a bunch of stuff that the other guys don't include till after, potentially, and now their game is delayed. Did they bite off more than they could chew to troll EA?
No,
and Ubisoft?
you just said they commit to release it after. They're releasing theirs now.
Well, yeah, but but the game's not out, so they're not releasing anything. I'm just saying.
It's completely irrelevant.
I'm just saying.
Even matter.
I'm just saying. If the
They're
extra,
two completely different situations.
If
EA or Ubisoft were releasing them at the release of the game, then it makes more sense. Because Witcher, like, CD Projekt Red has released stuff after games were released and still done it free. That's why it doesn't matter.
I was just having some fun.
I know.
No fun.
I have to slam down.
I don't want to host a show with you anymore, Kyle. I've never fired Kyle before.
This is why I quit Newegg, Paul. This is why.
Oh, too fun.
Anyways.
I wish those guys would reply to me so that I could hear.
I actually really wanted them to come in because I want to see what their comments are on our costumes.
All right, so okay. Oh, right. Were we going to say anything else about that? So, yeah, they're just saying, yeah, we knew it would be an ambitious game. You know, we wanted and still aim to give an incredible experience, an epic adventure in a vast open world. You know, when we released the most important game in our studio's history, we must be absolutely sure we did everything we could. I was trolling them a little bit before. They're doing this for all the right reasons. Yes. They're doing all the right things. Delaying the product to get it right is worth it. Just like we delayed Mineral Oil Part 4 last night by about 3.5 hours, even though it cost poor Nick any sleep last night.
Resemblance of sleep he could have gotten.
So if you guys haven't watched it already, come on, you guys. I mean, come on.
I watched it. I love, like, going back and watching certain videos like Mineral Oil, because even though I was in it, I'm like, oh, this is cool.
That was fun. And you know what? The way that those guys edit it together makes it a completely different experience again.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I liked it.
And
we got a comment from Puget Systems on that video saying that our question and answer section was really good, and we obviously know what we're talking about. So, like, right when I read that, I was like, yeah! That's exactly who I wanted to hear that from.
Yeah,
so those guys know their stuff.
That's awesome. So yeah, guys, everyone throw that in a tab and watch it after the show.
Yes.
When the show is done... Actually, don't throw it in a tab. Throw it in another browser window so that when the show is done, you can Alt-Tab!
Yeah.
We just wrecked the mic. Sorry, guys.
Oh no!
All right, so what's our next topic?
We've got Twitch buys esports teams.
Ooh, okay. So this was posted by official JSP on the forum. Original article here is from goodgame.gg. You want to go ahead and post this in the chat?
Yes. My bad.
All right, let's open up this link. All right.
It's so weird being on this side of the couch. I don't know how to do things because I'm used to cranking my right arm down so that you can fit easily, and then doing everything with my left hand. Now it's the other way around, and I'm like, I don't know how to do this.
All right, so this is an open letter from about basically why sold to Twitch and blah 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 blah. You know, the issue to me is not necessarily so teams Alliance, Evil Genius, and Team Tinker were acquired by Twitch, who's now owned by Amazon. And the issue here to me is not what a lot of people will care about, which I guess would be the perceived selling out of the teams. The issue here to me is, why does Twitch need to own esports teams?
Yeah, okay, and then there's the broadcaster argument, which I saw a lot of people bringing up, which was like the ESPN owning a football team would actually be a big issue. One thing that isn't the same there is that you're independently broadcasting using Twitch's system. instead of
Right.
ESPN, where they're controlling what goes on the channel. Twitch is controlling what goes on the channel. What?
Okay. Go ahead.
Twitch is controlling what goes on the channel, but in a like content moderation aspect, not a like you don't get to stream because you're a competing team. Okay, talk. Go, Dean.
They have a lot of control over exposure on their platform. I mean, okay, let's go back to YouTube. You could make the argument that a lot of, especially early YouTubers, back when it was pretty easy to go youtube.com front page, like every time I got featured on the front page, which has been years, by the way, it's been a long time, and I was a lot smaller then. Every time that I front paged, I got a massive boost to my subscribers and views. And so you could make the argument that a lot of the bigger YouTubes, especially in the early YouTubers.
The YouTubes.
Yeah.
We post our videos on the YouTubes.
Them YouTubes are taking all the views from the TV.
You don't have a job, you just do the YouTubes.
So a lot of the early YouTubers, you could make the argument that they got as big as they got because of the exposure from the platform. And Twitch has a lot of control over exposure to a given streamer or a given program. I mean, early on when we first started streaming on Twitch, we got a lot of features through Twitch's email newsletter and through the front page that we otherwise would not have had if we weren't kind of in their good books. Now, Twitch is in this position where their main product, that is to say gamers who stream games, is wholly owned by them. And I get why that's good from a business standpoint. So Amazon has this fantastic infrastructure, so you own your infrastructure, and then Twitch has this fantastic platform, like a social media platform, and so you own your platform, and then you own the content itself that you're supposed to be promoting. I mean, this is starting to look like a little bit evil. I mean, obviously it's up to Twitch to prove to us that they're going to be responsible.
People should pay a lot of attention. Look at what's on the front page. If that guy organically got there, that's fine, but pay attention to his growth. If he starts streaming and he has like a couple hundred people watching him, and then all of a sudden it goes front page, and then a whole bunch of people swim in all at the same time, it's not like he gets actually more than the people on the front page and then gets moved to the front page, then that's a little fishy.
So, I mean, the good news is that the players are all getting taken care of, at least to the extent that it seems like esports players can get taken care of. It seems like you kind of turn 22 and then you're trash, and you might as well, you can either become a coach or you go get a real job. It's
slightly less of a thing.
Slightly less of an issue.
But it's still definitely a thing.
But it's still an issue.
Yep. We're starting to see older people in the scene, but a lot of times they're more like figureheady, I guess. Like White Raw is awesome, but when was the last time you saw White Raw like win a tournament? I say that, but I'm not sure because I don't watch like at all.
No, I don't think he's really active anymore. Although I'm
he's
sure
active, he plays.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Sorry.
But like,
I shouldn't have said active.
Active wasn't necessarily the right.
I should have said doing things. You know what's funny is we have I
love White Raw.
Tell you what, remind me to do this. I have like a White Raw headset downstairs, and
that's cool.
I'll wear my White Raw headset on the next WAN show or something.
There we go.
Maybe
to
make up for being a jackass.
White Raw.
Sorry, dude. So and he's a lot bigger than me. So
yeah.
So anyway, every player currently contracted with Good Game is going to get a small portion of the company's sale. I'm assuming that's going to be a pretty small portion.
Yes.
Additional benefits for the players since they're becoming an Amazon subsidiary.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess there's not too much else to say about it. I do have a lot of concerns. The thing about Twitch is now that they're owned by Amazon, like let's not kid ourselves. Twitch is already making bank. Pre-Amazon acquisition, they are doing, like, there's a reason they had Amazon's attention and they sold for as much money as they did. Twitch now with Amazon's resources could be in a position to buy every esports team.
Yep. Honestly, a lot of esports teams, like raw just esports teams, don't even necessarily make a ton of money. That's one thing that I think some people don't really realize. They'll win a tournament, And then people are like, oh my god, they're so baller.
They won a
tournament.
$250,000 prize. It's like...
When there's like 5 people that were at that tournament, probably more players on the team, administrators, coaches, all this kind of stuff, the chance that they won that tournament is actually relatively low.
The team house that they live in. And yes, they get money from sponsorships, and it's not a trivial amount of money either. But the point is that it's kind of like, you know what? It's kind of like...
There's some teams that will make tons of money and be super successful.
Yes.
But there's a large amount of teams that aren't making a crazy
And it's like pro athletes, where we go, professional hockey players make too much money. But the truth of the matter is the NHL, or for other parts of the world, I don't know, Modo or KHL or whatever else, those leagues are the elite leagues, where it's like it's a snowball's chance in hell to even get there. There's lots of still professional sports where people are getting paid to play on the team that are not the NHL, where there is not a lot of money involved and a lot of heartache and work that goes on to be involved in them just for a shot at the NHL. So you hear about these big prize pools, but that doesn't mean every esports player is a baller. And
now they picked up like EG and stuff, which is... That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, not insignificant.
But what we're talking about is like the potential to scoop up everything else.
Yes. And the fact that not every esports player or streamer for that matter, you know, just gamers that basically are worth advertising revenue. Why don't I say it that way?
Yeah.
Gamers people want to watch are not necessarily all making bank, but they are all a very valuable commodity. And for Twitch to be sort of jumping in and bringing these people in as employees now in still what is very, very early stages for esports is an incredibly shrewd strategy for them, but one that I have very mixed feelings about because you look at the kind of promotion that someone like Twitch can do around a major esports event. How much more promotion do we get when it's their team in the final?
Oh, yeah.
Just naturally, out of enthusiasm for their
Even if there's
bros.
no, like, evil sense there at all. Even if they're just like, oh, man, like, we actually just like you dudes. Let's do this.
How much more promotion would, like, you know, your brother doing something to do with tech news?
I've proven that. Yeah. Whenever my brother streams, I'm like, everybody go watch. Yeah, I don't know.
And that's not evil.
No.
That's just humans having relationships with each other and wanting each other to succeed, and like this is all warm and fuzzy.
And quitting Newegg together.
Quitting Newegg together at the same time. This is just one of those things where I feel like by acquiring these teams in the first place, they've put themselves in a position where it's almost a foregone conclusion that they're going to get special treatment in terms of coverage.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, it's not like it diminishes my love for Twitch. I found out about this before. I'm still wearing their shirt, mostly because it's American Apparel and it's extremely comfortable.
It's really comfortable. Yeah. We're more or less trying to do the thing that Firefox did a long time ago, which is put stuff out there so that people pay attention. Just hold Twitch accountable and be ready and pay attention. And if stuff starts happening, start talking about it.
Speaking of Firefox, where's that? Dang it, where is that topic?
Yahoo?
Yeah.
Yahoo.
Why can I not find this?
I didn't even see it in the doc.
Is it not in here?
I don't think so.
I thought it was. Maybe I just posted a link. Well, whatever. I'll just have to do this from my brain. I really thought this was in here. Okay, well, whatever. Do you want to find some link to it? Okay, so Mozilla's deal was a 3-year deal in 2011 with Google to have Google be the default search in the Firefox browser. So that's at the Firefox homepage. That search was a Google search. And then in the top right of the Firefox browser, that was by default a Google search, has ended. I think something like, what was it? Some horrifying number, like 85% of their revenue came from that deal.
It's insane,
with Google, and they have not managed to reach an agreement where they can continue that partnership. So it looks like starting in 2014, Mozilla has inked a new deal, this time with Yahoo, to have Yahoo be the star search engine for
I found
Firefox.
an article about this on Yahoo, but it's terrible, so I'll have to go find another one. Whoa, I spelled that wrong.
Blog.mozilla.com is probably going to be the way to go. All right, so yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll post that. We'll post that in the Twitch chat there. You guys can check that out. But
it hasn't been as bad as I would have expected. at the beginning.
Yahoo search?
Because
well, it's powered by Bing.
Yeah.
So
and Bing is just stealing their search results from Google. So realistically, it's going all the way around.
Well, they can't steal everything, so...
Yeah.
So basically, I guess it's not a huge deal, you guys. You don't have to use Yahoo search.
No.
What's cool is that Yahoo is not requiring Mozilla to track their users in any way. So anyone who's already opted out within the browser, all that stuff is still fine. It looks like not a whole lot is going to change, but
for the people that are inevitably going to freak out and go, what are you talking about, Bing stealing results from Google? I just posted that in the Twitch chat. That's a Google blog post of that being a thing.
Yeah, so basically all you have to do is you can still change the default search provider just like you can do in Internet Explorer. It'll just be the default, and I would probably recommend changing it.
Yeah.
Because Bing is just not very good, unfortunately.
It wasn't like I found that for very basic search terms, for things that I was looking up that like was expected probably to be searched, it was fine. Whenever I would search something that was much more specific, it had more problems. Like if I'd search up like, oh, this is a news article that one of my friends told me about that I have no idea what he's trying to say, it would find that because it's a recent common news article. But if I was like, I'm having this really weird issue with this benchmarking machine,
yeah,
it would be like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. Want a bagel? I'd be like, no. What?
Actually, yes.
Well,
but I also want a useful search result.
Delicious nutrition is a good thing, but I need to figure out what I'm trying to find. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Speaking of delicious nutrition, we've got delicious nutrition for your brain. There we go. I didn't plan that. Lynda.com is one of our sponsors today. You can go to lynda.com/WAN show for a free 10-day trial.
Not 7.
This Sunday only. 10-day trial. Lynda.com Sunday. Be excited. Monster trucks. Monster trucks.
Get 'em all you
monster trucks. Okay, sorry. No monster trucks.
Intelligent destruction.
Sorry. So lynda.com is the place online for learning. Sign up for a free 10-day trial and get...
If you want to learn how to program a soundboard, you can probably go through their programming courses and make a soundboard of the ridiculousness that we just did.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No one should make a soundboard of that. So basically, lynda.com is an online learning resource. You sign up, their plans are very reasonably priced, and you can learn a new skill, whether it's photography, video editing, photo editing with Photoshop. Programming is another great example. Lynda.com has courses where you can learn at your own pace, in the comfort of your own home, very, very affordably, and from industry experts. They're adding new content all the time, trying to make sure that you guys keep that subscription going and keep on learning on lynda.com. We've got a couple of employees here at Linus Media Group who use their lynda.com skills on a daily basis here at work. So is lynda.com a great way to improve the way you're enjoying your hobby? Yes. Is lynda.com a great way to potentially kickstart a new career? Yes to that too. So we love lynda.com. They love the WAN show. They especially love it when we make fun of their mascot chick there. I mean...
Especially on Sunday!
Especially on Sunday! It's Friday.
I know.
Yeah. So.
But you said, well, no, we're
doing
no
one says Friday. Friday!
Yeah. You're probably tired from work. You probably just want to go home and have dinner. Yeah! Monster trucks.
Also, our other sponsor today is iFixit.com.
To fix your monster truck.
To fix your monster truck. Yeah, I'm sure.
Monday. After the show, gotta fix your monster truck.
'Cause it broke when you went over that crazy jump. And I'm sure that the Lynda lady went over the crazy jump. If you replace her book with a steering wheel,
someone get
this is how I drive my truck.
Someone get like Gravedigger going over this giant jump, but then put the Lynda chick in it with a book instead of a steering wheel. Please, someone make that. That would be amazing.
So iFixit is our other sponsor today. If you guys aren't familiar with iFixit, then you probably haven't ever wanted to fix a piece of electronics. They have, actually, I have no idea what my talking points are for this sponsor. So I'm just going to kind of wing it here. Basically, they've got fantastic guides on their website where you can learn how to repair almost freaking anything. In fact, before iFixit reached out to us about this sponsorship, do you know how this happened?
No.
Okay, I wanted to do a hardware upgrade on the iMac Retina.
You probably needed their stuff.
So, of course, I went to iFixit.
Yeah.
I wanted to order the stuff that I needed. I noticed an error in their guide where they didn't have one of the tools that you need listed in the what to buy for this guide. Because normally, they list everything you need. Their web store is awesome, and it has pretty much everything you need. And so I contacted them. I said, hey, what's all the stuff I need? I live in Canada, so shipping's expensive for me. I want to make sure I consolidate my order. And they went, holy crap, you're Linus. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, yeah. Oh, sorry about that, man. So they got it fixed within like 10 minutes.
That's cool. That's really cool, actually.
Replied to my ticket quickly, even before like they knew I was me, and we were emailing back and forth. And then they kind of went, "Oh yeah, you like our stuff? Hey, we want to sponsor you guys. How does that work? Can we sponsor you to talk about our Protect toolkit?" And I kind of went, yeah, I guess I could. They're like, oh yeah, we'll send you one. I'm like, that's okay, I have one.
I have one. We use it like all the time.
I bought it, and then I did my unboxing of it like a year ago. So I showed them my unboxing of it. And anyway, I'm supposed to play a video for you guys or something. I had a chance to look at what I'm supposed to do here. So I'm just going to put this on here. So this is some footage that Burkle grabbed of the iFixit Protect toolkit. It comes with a whole bunch of screwdrivers. Those are my tri-wing screwdrivers. This was actually the reason I bought the toolkit, the tri-wing screwdriver bits, so I could take apart my DS. He also showed you guys the security Torxes that are included that I've used to take apart SSDs, the anti-static strap, and those prying tools, particularly the plastic ones, are really, really handy. I used those to take apart my wife's Droid DNA when I had to fix the screen.
When I used to work in tech shops, we would literally call those little plastic prying tools Mac tools.
Mac tools.
And if if you wanted one, you just say, "Where's the Mac tool?"
Mechanics have other Mac tools.
I know, but we didn't have
like Mac tools. They're really good.
They are actually.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not talking about those right now. We're talking about iFixit. So guys, use offer code Linus to save $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. So iFixit.com is the place to go if you have some silly gadget that sillily broke down and needs to be repaired, especially things like cell phone screen repair. There's no reason to take it to a shop and pay too much.
Or a monster truck.
Because the math that I did was for the cost of the iFixit toolkit, which really isn't that expensive, I was able to buy my own toolkit and do it myself.
And then have those tools permanently for possibly other jobs.
Which is exactly what I
makes that next job like way cheaper. And
we actually, we featured one of their things in our last Handy Tech Under 100. That magnetic mat.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dry erase thing. It's like $20. And it keeps all the screws. You can write on it and label them, and it keeps all the screws where they're supposed to be, which is one of the most infuriating things about any DIY repair project.
I think it would be cool if it was like way more intense and kind of like the plates that we have. So you could put it up on things. But it's $20 and like it's definitely completing its own job. Just right when I saw it, I was like, ooh, I kind of want to put that on the wall.
Yeah, I want like the $35 one.
Yeah.
That's like even better.
Yeah.
There isn't a $35 one. But if anyone from iFixit is watching, which they probably should be, we'd love to see. That would be cool. Yeah, we'd love to see one that's like magnetic on the back as well, and you can like stick it to your fridge, and it's so strong.
But then
you can
still grit it out.
Put like bolts from your potato cutter in it on it. I actually got a bolt in a poutine once.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, that's
like super not good.
Yeah, no, it was like a bolt with like grease on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it was pretty revolting.
Wow.
Well, okay, the good news is that the reason there was a bolt in the poutine was that they cut their own fries at this place. Like fresh cut fries from a fry cutting machine that apparently dropped a bolt in my food.
Oh jeez. I had something to say about. Oh, right, with that big thing, like it could even have ridges in the metal so they don't go in between.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, so if it's a big thing you can mount on the wall, and then it has its own squares, just like that one.
Yeah.
It could even have like little tiny whiteboard spaces at the top of each one of the squares, so you can still label what that area is for, and then just ridges so they don't go in between it.
We're full of good ideas.
That would be,
terrible ideas. Like dressing up as Paul and Kyle on the WAN show. My lip is so itchy!
I'm sure it is. My whole head is... How is yours?
Mine?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. You know what I'll do? After party, I'll take it off.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'll show you guys how it's attached to my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, I did not shave my head bald. This is a bald cap.
Yeah.
And I think she did a pretty bang up job. This smudge right here actually was an accident. Right before the show started, she came in and was like, "Oh, let me just touch up." Because she was reaching,
leaning over. Yeah. She had to lean over me and like part of the couch just to try and get to that, and then it was unfortunate.
Pretty funny. Speaking of things that aren't funny, the Pirate Bay was raided this week by Swedish. I almost said spinach police. Stop in the name of iron.
Eat healthier food. You're eating too much junk food with your pirated movies.
So basically, they were down for a couple days now.
Yeah,
I think they've been down 2 or 3 days now. Let's go ahead. And this is a news article from Torrent Freak over here. So for the first time in months, just completely disappeared offline. It's uncertain what exactly the future of the site will be. One of the former founders of the Pirate Bay...
Isn't it somewhere else now or something?
Basically said... Yeah, and he basically said, I hope it stays down. I don't really like the direction that it's gone in. You know, there's a lot of pretty... Pirate Bay has gotten pretty aggressive about the pornographic ads over the last little bit.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, I feel... You know, like it would be just awkward to have that site open in any social context.
Yeah.
Like there's some pretty graphic stuff on there. The ISO Hunt guys, speaking of, earlier in the show, didn't we talk about how ISO Hunt is it back?
Yeah, it's CR.
Oh, it's back already. Wow, that was quick.
What should I search for? Test.
I know that the ISO Hunt guys had it back up at... like, this is all very much an evolving story right now.
Yeah.
But they had it back up at oldpiratebay.org.
Pop-up ads and crap all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is legitimately the Pirate Bay.
It looks like it.
They even have a checkbox for porn.
Well, of course they do. It's a torrent site.
I don't know.
What are people downloading on torrent sites?
I don't know. Games and movies? That's what I thought.
Well, that's technically a movie.
I guess. Oh.
And technically games too, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, see? Games and movies. It's just a category of games and movies. Mind you, they don't have a check mark for comedy, so...
Oh.
Adam Sandler, you're just not getting pirated the way you used to. Unless you get naked.
I was just going to say that.
Adam, nobody wants to see that.
No, it's just leave it alone.
All right.
Enough alone.
So this was posted by Silberdrachi on the forum, and the original article here is from Engadget. Intel, IBM, and Qualcomm say net neutrality. Something headline. Net neutrality will cause tech companies like them to suffer.
I'm posting on the thing. If that's Nick spamming Linus, he's not going to read it. Hit me, or he's going to read it now, I guess.
Oh, apparently I can't take the bald wig off myself. I need help to take it off. Oh, all right.
Well, is she still here?
I don't know. Apparently. Guess I'm paying for that.
Probably. Well, unless you want to have a bald head for the rest of ever.
Well, there would be cheaper ways to do that. So, yeah. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Apparently there are fake Pirate Bay sites. Yeah, that was bound to happen. I do know that some of the rehosted things
that one looked pretty
true.
real.
Some of them are not. I have no idea. I don't want to speculate on which ones are real and which ones are not. But let's talk about our friends over at Intel, Qualcomm, and IBM. So the argument being made here, apparently piratebay.cr is malware infected. So don't go there.
If you get screwed over
trying to pirate stuff,
I don't care.
You kind of
I'm sorry.
You kind of had it coming. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Just reformat or do whatever. Like that's what you're kind of paying for.
Okay. We'll come back to the net neutrality thing. Tell me something. How would you feel about us doing a safe pirating episode? Because it's not something that we support, but we do support safe internet practices, and the proliferation of viruses is bad for everyone. Pirates and non-pirates, because there are a lot of things you can do to make piracy a lot safer.
Safe pirating episode or safe torrenting episode?
How about
torrenting
safe torrenting?
Is not pirating.
Right, but most of the torrents...
I'm totally down for torrents.
But most of the torrents that are going to be infected with malware are going to be the sketch ones. Yeah. because because why would you torrent something that is infected? And because the point of infecting something is you want lots of people grabbing it, so you're not gonna.
A potential problem with like legit torrents though is that they could be infected because you could post one that looks like the legit one and it's not. That was a huge thing back with like LimeWire and all that crap.
Yeah.
Like even if you happened to download something legitimate off LimeWire that wasn't pirated, it wasn't bullcrap, it was very easy for someone to post something under that name.
Yeah.
That wasn't that, and it was malicious.
Right, but if you were going to post a malicious
I totally
thing,
get your point.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to add my.
So my point is, you would go for something that's much more likely to be downloaded. Which, let's face it, anyone making the argument that a site like ISO Hunt or Pirate Bay is being used anything but predominantly for illicit content. I shouldn't say illicit because in a lot of places, including Canada, downloading a lot of that stuff isn't illegal. But
it would be an interesting idea because
let's say sketchy content.
Yeah, it would be an interesting idea because a lot of the issues you can have, like if someone was able to get some of your personal identification from your computer, you don't deserve that.
Yeah, no one deserves identity theft.
No.
Like nobody deserves identity theft, and we'll get into the whole Sony thing a little bit later. Speaking of theft of personal information.
Oh god, there's so much crap happening with that. But like,
I know that's a mess, isn't it?
So I see it from that standpoint. I still don't necessarily think we should touch it.
Right.
But I do agree with like certain viruses can do to you, like file dumps and picture dumps and
ransom attacks.
And ransom attacks, like crap like that. You don't deserve that. That's stupid.
All right, so Intel, IBM, and Qualcomm say net neutrality will cause tech companies to suffer. So in an open letter to both Congress and the FCC, a group of 60 companies that includes Qualcomm and Cisco argue that proper regulation of the internet will risk the end of national investment in telecommunications infrastructure. I mean, we've already had AT&T coming out and saying, hey, we don't want to, although they've backtracked on that.
So get other companies to do it.
Hold on. Let's get through the thing.
No, I'm just mad.
Just hold on, okay?
Now hurry up.
Okay.
I want to be mad.
All right, you can be mad. Just be mad quietly.
Okay.
See, now I don't even remember what I was saying. So AT&T already came out and said, look, until we know how this new investment that we're making into fiber in 100 cities is going to be regulated, we're not going to make the investment. We're gonna put this all on hold. So as far as companies like Intel and IBM are concerned, reclassifying broadband as a utility will prompt the networks to halt their building plans altogether. So they're basically saying, yeah, we buy AT&T's story that they're going to stop building infrastructure because they can't monetize it to their satisfaction. Man. Okay, let's keep going. So were that to happen, it's claimed that U.S. investment in broadband could fall by as much as $45 billion in the next 5 years. And with that sort of money no longer in the system, the tech businesses will begin to suffer because if ISPs aren't investing in new equipment, then Intel's not able to get that revenue and employ people to invest in new development for new equipment and blah, 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 blah. You know what? The U.S. isn't the only place on Earth, and we're still going to need decent broadband equipment for other markets around the world as they continue to outstrip the US's third world class internet, which is what it's going to be by the time, another, how long is it AT&T thinks their plan to roll out fiber to 100 cities? I think they're saying, 5 years?
I think it's something like that.
Something like 5 years by the time that even happens. So if they go ahead and don't do that and do nothing for 5 years, it's going to be a joke. And you know what? Things like municipal internet.
Yeah.
We had a topic on that. There was a small town in Texas, I believe, wasn't it?
I
really hope it was Texas. Whatever, in the States somewhere.
I think it was Texas.
Yeah, can't remember. Small town just basically went, we're gonna build our own fiber infrastructure. Blackjack.
I think they had already paid for the fiber infrastructure to be there. It's just like an emergency system, kind of.
Yeah.
And then they're like, why don't we just use this? Maybe make it a little bit stronger. I don't really know that part, but I'm assuming yada yada yada, and that makes a ton of sense, and I'm totally down with that. And I just things like municipal groups stepping up, like that one, stuff like Google Fiber stepping in, like screw you.
And that is what is actually going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you know what, guys? You know how this works is the customer is right. And the customer for a municipality...
Not always, but this time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, the customer ultimately dictates the direction things are going to go. And if municipalities that invest in proper internet infrastructure and making sure that their customers, their taxpayers are their customers. You don't have to live anywhere. You can move. That is how you act like a customer to your municipality, to your city, to your province or state, to your country. You leave if you're not happy, and you flock to the places that are doing the things that make you happy.
Yep.
And if cities start to notice, holy crap, other cities that are making sure that their residents have these Wi-Fi hotspots available all over the city and they have affordable broadband internet, oh, they're getting people moving to them. Maybe we should do this and get people to move. You know what's going to happen? AT&T and Intel and IBM and Qualcomm and all you guys, you know what's going to happen is somebody will invest in it, and you will be left behind. It's happened over and over and over again. I mean, how well did it work out for, you know, ice mining companies if they didn't invest in R&D into refrigeration? You know, did they just, oh well, we're not gonna invest in new ways to, you know, store ice underground and in caves and deliver it to people for their ice chests until legislation tells us, you know, how these refrigeration units are gonna come on, you get with the times or you don't. And quite frankly, I'm sick of their bitching because they're making, basically, their business model they have now enables them to build sports stadiums. Okay, they have
anytime you can like buy out and name a sports stadium.
Anyone who a sports stadium is named after, I have no sympathy for, because it is the ultimate ego nonsense thing to spend money on. It is pure ego for some executive who has, because, I mean, there's a limit to how much profit you actually want to have. The taxes that you pay on your profit are a lot more than if you just kind of add some unnecessary expenses to here. And there's a lot of tricks that can be played with the book. So by the time you're just spending money on stupid nonsense, oh, I have a message. Oh, okay. Oh crap, that was like 20 minutes ago. Maybe we can bring Paul onto the show. By the time you're spending money on this stupid nonsense, you're fine, and I really don't feel bad for you. And the fact of the matter is that there's no reason that they can't continue to charge more for the higher speed broadband that they deliver, or that people won't be willing to pay for more than just the base level of service when there's, like, you know, a $10 or $20 step up that's available that's much faster. They will make money on their investment. And I guess, you know, the good old-fashioned other way that they could grow as companies would be, hey, I don't know, by competing with each other. There are ways to grow your business that don't involve legislating, you know, it being unnecessary for you to invest in growth unless you see a massive, disproportionate, inappropriate profit potential where you can start tapping into, you know, companies like Google saying, hey, if you want, you know, the fast lane for your customers, or Netflix, then you're going to have to pay. And I mean, there's huge problems associated with competitors like Netflix. You got to remember, some of these broadband internet companies are also content servers for cable television. They're direct competitors, and they're going to be given the ability to squeeze them out and charge them nickel
for no predefined amount of money. For
no predefined amount of money. They're just going to be able to nickel and dime them until they can crush them. This is just completely inappropriate and disgusting.
Ridiculous.
And you know what? Innovation never stops because someone refuses to keep innovating. Good luck with that.
Other people will step up.
Yeah. All right.
Are we getting them in here?
Yeah. So let's go ahead and do a thing here. So. Okay.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Heimlich. Hold on, I don't have you quite live yet. You'll have to mute your show there, sir.
Yes, just did. Sorry.
All right, hold on. I'm just gonna get the mixer. I heard. Oh, bloody balls.
Bloody balls.
Bloody balls.
Well, it's so uncanny seeing you two talk to each other when you don't
weird.
look similar
it's
at all.
It's like looking in a mirror.
All right, there he is. Hey, we got
everyone.
Paul on the show and other Paul on the show. So okay. How's the similarity? You got to give me your assessment. How'd I do here?
Well, clearly the cloning process was successful, I think. I don't keep it quite that short. It's been a while since I had it like fully on, but I mean, and you're a little bit wide, I think, on the
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know there. So
Well,
you gotta. It's got kind of a V shape to it. If you notice, it's
Paul likes
tapered
the V.
towards the bottom.
it's better than.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
Yeah, optimal V.
I'm Kyle.
V
not
optimized
correct
hair
you, but
management.
I'm Kyle.
V optimized hair management.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
On the lower lip there.
Is it tress effects? Maybe Paul's has a little bit more tress effects than yours.
Okay, so let me tell you something. The intention for my makeup was actually Brandon screwed up and told our artist that she had until 5:30 for the show to start.
Oh.
So she was kind of working away, and I'm like, yeah, it's showtime in 20 minutes. She's like, what? You have got to be kidding me. I'm not even close to done. I'm like, oh, well, we've got 20 minutes. So she had intended to put hair in, like to actually put hair on so that we could get the look a little bit closer. But I think considering the time constraints, I'm pretty pleased with the results.
Yeah, you guys went all out. I mean, have you ever tried to rush a makeup artist before? They don't. No, they don't really take kindly to that.
So since you're on the show, do you want to talk some like tech crap?
I'd be happy to. I mean, I don't have your show doc, but
that's fine.
Here, I'll work on that. You do your thing.
Yeah, if you just want to share it with Paul. So guys, for those of you who don't know Paul, he's from the YouTube channel Paul's Hardware, formerly from Newegg.tv, although you're still on Newegg TV, aren't you?
Yeah, I go in there once a week still and do a show, so I'm still hanging out there, but also working on my own channel. So check it out if you guys are interested. Love to have you stop by.
Cool, man. So, okay, let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. Have you heard that Windows 10 may be subscription-based? This was posted by Ah Ming on the forum, and our original article here is from techreport.com. Do you want to go ahead and post that link? And
Yep,
I'll open this baby up. What do you think of subscription-based Windows?
I think it's a good idea. I think if you look at when people do builds, and so often I see build setups, and there's no Windows in there, and it's always like, oh well, are you gonna have to spend another $100 on your Windows license for something like that? But I mean, if you compare it to something like Adobe, like I think Adobe realized that piracy was pretty rampant with their products, and
yeah,
so
rampant is one way of putting it.
Yeah, that's putting it mildly. But so since they realized it was such an issue, they offered the subscription-based thing, and I know of a lot more people who do the subscription now who never had $1,000+ depending on what suite you were getting to drop on something like that. So I think it's a good idea. I think it's definitely something Microsoft needs to do given the competition that they're looking at as far as operating systems go. And I'm just kind of curious how much they're going to charge, actually. Is there any information on that?
I haven't seen anything, but what I suspect we'll see, because Microsoft, going back to my retailer days, back when I used to have meetings with Microsoft about, what they wanted to do, for quite some time, the strategy has been, how do we attach Windows and Office better?
Yeah.
And this is the way, because Office 365 is already great. And if I could pay a little bit more for Office 365, and which already includes my SkyDrive storage, so by bundling more services together, Microsoft could extract incrementally a little bit more money from me and could deliver largely incrementally a lot more value to me. That is a win-win proposition.
I would kind of like
mind.
there to be two systems, because in certain situations, like say as a student, if you are given a laptop,
right?
A lot of different situations you might be given a laptop. I'm not going to go through all the different potential situations where you're given a laptop. You would probably have to keep that subscription up. Wow. Not that one.
I don't know. I couldn't get it right. I was doing it in the mirror.
Oh my goodness.
I was looking at the
image.
image.
You're apparently not very skilled at that. It's like you might have to keep that subscription going. Say you're a fairly young kid. I built my computer really early on. There's no way I could have kept up with the subscription. I had money that I had collected over years from birthdays and Christmas and whatnot, and like paper routes and crap. That's how I built my first computer.
Right.
And I dumped everything I had. Now, in this this case, I would have had to keep like a buffer so that I could keep this stupid subscription going. Like, I couldn't afford to buy cheap Steam games. I was trying to get free games and like whatever I could get from my parents from time to time. There's no way I would have been able to keep a subscription going. There is people that this doesn't make a ton of sense for. Personally, I like this idea. It works for me right now.
Yeah.
I can afford the little bit of subscription. It'll probably be a lot easier because incremental hardware upgrades and stuff, it's not going to care anymore as long as the subscription is only on one computer at a time, just like Office 365. I think that'll make it a lot easier for the stuff I'm doing, which is great. But we also have to remember the people that it's not good for.
Well, I think that in a lot of situations, like, okay, for example, a piece... Okay, there a few problems that I can think of right off the bat. Is one of the things about a subscription-based service is it includes updates. Not everyone wants to update to the latest Windows, and even if they wanted to, maybe they're running hardware that doesn't support it. So Microsoft may be locking themselves into this sort of Vista 780 8.1-ish compatible kernel for quite some time if we want to see driver support that will make any sense for subscription-based Windows. Another issue is the one that you brought up, where sometimes buying Windows is just a better option. But for me, like something like Office 365, where I can pay the monthly service, I get licenses for all my devices, especially for technophiles who have many devices. If they can give me my 5 Windows licenses that I subscribe to, then that's all the ones I need, versus what it would cost me. Like $500 every couple of years is what it would cost me to update all of my devices at a time. So it gets incrementally cheaper as you have more devices.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have a great flow to that, but that was my basic point.
I still think it's very segmented, and I'm interested to hear what Paul thinks.
I was just going to say, we discussed some of the benefits of the subscription-based service, but Luke, like as you're pointing out, there are definitely situations where just buying it outright is also a good option. So I know a lot of businesses know that subscription-based services are a way to create an income stream that's very steady and very standard, and getting a bunch of people to sign up is a really good thing. If you look at something like World of Warcraft or something like that, I mean, the amount of money that you can make from that is huge. So
and predictable.
Yes, and you can know exactly how much money you're going to be making.
Yeah. And
essentially, you can have people who would end up paying more than what you would pay for if you had just bought it outright. So I would say that I would not want to see the subscription model at the expense of also not being able to buy it outright.
Fair enough. Can you still buy Office outright? I think so, right? I don't know.
So.
Office 2013 you can.
What I like about...
Yeah, but that's what 365 is 2013.
Yeah. Yes, what I like about sort of cloudy, subscription-y services, I guess, is that at least they're evolving in the right direction. I mean, you look at the App Store, the Apple App Store being able to family share apps now. You look at Steam being able to family share apps now. You look at the way an Office 365 subscription works, there's nothing that prevents me from equipping my whole household with my Office subscription, whether it's me or my wife or my son. I mean, he's 2. He doesn't need an Office yet, but at some point he'll need Office. There's nothing that prevents me from that, and so that's where the additional value for me comes in. As a household, subscription-based, it's like more like bulk buying at an incredible discount.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense.
I just looked it up. The first website that came up was Best Buy, but it showed a really good demonstration, actually. You can get the subscription or you can buy the full thing.
Okay.
So if they do that with Windows 2, I think they've covered all possible bases. I'll get a subscription, other people can buy the whole thing, whatever fits for you better. That's awesome.
All right, so the Sony hack. Paul, have you been keeping up with what's been going on for poor Sony over there?
They've gotten it pretty bad pretty recently, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I ever thought I'd say poor Sony.
It's funny because I like right when all that was coming out. I don't know if you follow Jason. He writes for Forbes, Jason Evangelo, but he just wrote an article about going to the Sony the PlayStation experience that they just had, and his whole journey touring around to all of the indie games that they had there, and like what a great experience it was, and how much he felt like Sony was reaching out to that, and like I've never felt worse for Sony. Definitely.
They have been doing a lot for indie on PS4. Actually.
I mean, they've done a lot of crap that I really feel strongly is terrible.
Yep.
A lot of proprietaryville nonsense. Yep. But let's just do like a brief brief rundown. So problems started on November 24th when various reports pointed to a high-profile studio-wide cyber attack at the hands of a group calling itself #GOP, Guardians of Peace. The hackers, we still don't really know their origin. There seems to be some kind of link to, what was it? Was it Bangkok or something like that?
North Korea, Bangkok, a little bit of South Korea.
Well, no,
not really sure.
The rumor was it was probably North Korea because one of the demands
says they haven't had anything to do with it.
Yeah,
and
but
then there's sources
what's
in
their credibility?
Bangkok, and then there's sources in South Korea. There's stuff all over the place.
Yeah,
no one
and
really knows.
the only demand they've made so far, other than an early one. Other than an early one by email, which the executives they sent it to never even responded to, which was for money. It looks like there's been another demand to pull the movie The Interview, in which, who is it? I don't know, a couple like goofy actors. Seth
I don't
Rogen.
know. Maybe Seth Rogen.
Can you remember, Paul? Do you know who the actors are? I don't really follow
Seth
actors.
Rogen and that other dude who's very attractive and smokes weed a lot. What's his name?
Even Goldberg and Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Him.
All right. So anyway, they are supposed to they meet Kim Jong-un. They're supposed to assassinate him or something. So out of the data that's been released by the group,
Did I say even?
they claimed that they had just under 100 terabytes of data, and out of what they've released, they've included some high quality leaks of upcoming films. They've released executive contact information, emails, salaries. They've released the details of Sony's dealings with Sony Pictures dealings with celebrities, including their names, negotiation strategies, how much their traveling aliases. Like there's a ton of stuff going on.
I don't know what the American version is, but wasn't it like SIN numbers essentially of employees too?
Yeah,
that's horrible.
Yeah, social insurance numbers.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, that's ours.
That's ours.
Social security numbers in the U.S., right, Paul? Is it social security?
Whatever your personal thing is.
Yeah.
That thing.
I don't have one of those, but I've heard that's what they're called.
So yeah, they're saying we are sending out our warning again. Do carry out our demand if you want to escape us, and stop immediately showing the movie of terrorism, which can break the regional peace and cause the war. I mean, this is causing so much uproar, and the truth of the matter is, Sony has to release the interview. They can't not release the interview, because as soon as they don't release the interview, these guys have full control. Because it's not like Sony can say, okay, we won't release the interview, and these guys won't still have all that data.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, we'll give you the data back. I mean, data's not like that. It's not a physical object. They can just put it on a different hard drive somewhere. So I mean, the thing about it is Sony has no choice but to release the interview, and they almost can't, because individual employees at Sony are getting threats from this group towards them and their families. I mean, this is just a mess. One of the leaks includes private info of close to 40,000 Sony Pictures ex-employees, home addresses, previous salaries.
That's really messed up.
Like...
They're like Guardians of Peace. Let's ruin a huge amount of people's lives. What? Like there was different ways that if they wanted to harass Sony with this information, they could have, that didn't like destroy all the employees' lives, which probably had nothing to do with this movie at all. Yeah. Ridiculous.
So they're asking for monetary compensation, or blah 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 blah. And I've seen some criticism of the Sony executives for not even opening the email initially, but I wouldn't open that email.
Yeah.
It would look like a spam email. I would not open it specifically because it looks like a spam email.
And there might be security issues.
Exactly.
And the number of empty threats that you could get to that same end, I guarantee they've been threatened with something similar to that before. The idea that there was anybody able to actually go through with it is probably pretty far from your mind at that point.
Sony does need to freaking stop holding stuff in plain text. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, of all of these things, the lack of security on Sony's side is pretty reprehensible.
Yeah, I mean I guess it's not so much that I feel bad for Sony. I do feel kind of bad for Sony because
for the people that work for Sony.
I feel especially bad for the people that work for Sony, because the thing is that if Sony Pictures, can't negotiate with Brad Pitt anymore because he's worried about his personal information being leaked because he dealt with Sony Pictures, that's going to mean countless jobs lost because Sony Pictures can't sustain itself anymore. Like, this is terrible. This is just terrible and absolutely terrible, and there's no way for it to go well from this point that I can see.
It's just kind of really bad.
There's rumors that Sony was using Amazon Web Services to DDoS sites that were hosting the stolen content.
But that's so sketchy rumors.
They're sketchy rumors. It would be a sketchy thing for Sony to do. I'm not even sure if I believe it. It could be.
But like, I looked up that a little bit. And there was an extreme lack of information. As far as I can tell, someone was like, "Oh, I thought of this thing that they could potentially be doing. Interesting. I'm going to post this on the internet." And that's as far as that rumor has gone, as far as I can tell. So I don't know about
it starts,
that.
and then from there it snowballs into that's
exactly
what they're doing.
Like, it could be. I don't know. I'm not saying it's definitely not, but it sounds like a whole bunch of bullcrap to me. If you're going to use something, AWS would make sense.
The YouTube Android application update allows you to watch videos offline. This was posted on the forum by Lisuno, and it gives... do you want to go ahead and post this in the Twitch chat?
Sure.
It gives users the option to download a video for offline consumption. They can choose between 360p and 720p, and most channels are not available yet, but it will be rolling out in time. And, yeah. So,
I believe TechWiki's available already. So if you need
there's a download button.
Yeah, TechWiki is, and LCT is not yet. So if you need to go show someone how to do something, you can download the TechWiki video before you leave and then show them.
I wonder, I'm assuming they still have a way to track viewership stats. The fact that it's app-based makes a lot of sense because they don't want you downloading files, then they have no tracking information. Yeah. And I mean, for the people watching, that tracking information is really important to YouTubers like us and this guy, because we use it to find out what you guys like. We can see retention hotspots, like where people watched and where they were interested in and all that kind of stuff. So the fact that it's within an app means that Google, next time that phone goes online, will still be able to report views and hotspots and all that.
Be able to do that,
all that data and make sure that, I wonder how ads work. Does it still serve an ad to you?
I wonder, it could download like a set of ads with it. I wouldn't be surprised.
And then serve
or
it?
Just one of them and you just get served the exact same one every time.
I'm not sure. Twitch chat, let us know. Do you still get ads if you download into the app?
That would be a lot of work to circumvent a 5-second skippable button.
Yeah.
If you were like, I'm going to download every video so I don't have to watch the ads. That would be a little bit odd.
But I mean, sometimes YouTube rolls things out where they just haven't implemented that yet, even though it costs them some ad revenue. Like, for the longest time, mobile didn't have ads on it.
Yeah, that's true. Really long time, actually.
Yeah. I mean, you could make the argument that they wanted people to watch on mobile so that Android and stuff.
And they can put ads in later.
Yeah, just put the ads in later.
They could just force you to download the ad as well.
Sorry?
They could just force you to download the ad as well.
Yeah, I'm just not sure what they're doing. Hopefully Twitch chat is exploding with people. Someone says I get ads, but it's Twitch chat, so it could all be BS anyway.
Yeah.
I've got people saying no ads, got people saying yeah ads. Thanks, Twitch chat.
Twitch chat, super useful as normal.
We love you guys. Speaking of Twitch chat, we have 6,500 people watching.
Nice.
Is that a new record?
No.
Oh, were we close to 7,000 once?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's
really good. It's a very high amount.
That's like number 2 or 3
it's gotta
all
be
time.
Up there.
Yeah, it's right. I mean, that's more views than Paul gets in a year.
Oh.
On my live shows, I don't do live shows. I could do live shows.
I saw you doing a live show.
That was the Newegg live show.
No, I saw you doing a different live show.
He's making.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I did see that.
Was that
I'm subscribed to that
Snapchat
website. Yeah, where you have that live
Paul's
show.
Big Hardware Snapchat.
Oh, terrible.
That's a brilliant name.
If I don't have that yet, I'm gonna set it up now.
That's fantastic.
Speaking of picture-based social media, this was posted by ETRJ on the forum. Instagram now apparently bigger than Twitter.
I'm not surprised.
What?
I want to go ahead and post a link.
Sure.
So Instagram has told Newsbeat it has the potential to change the world, as it announced it has overtaken Twitter with 300 million users. Twitter claims to have 284 million users accessing the network each month, which is fascinating. Paul, do you use Instagram?
I do have Instagram. I'm not super active on there, but I try to post a few videos every now and then. A few pictures every now and then, of course. That's interesting. I'd be curious about actual traffic, though, because I feel like there's a lot of people who go to Twitter and read Twitter but aren't necessarily signed up.
You know what the thing about Instagram is, and this has been why I've continued to use it, because I've had a lot of people complain to me about my use of Instagram for posting pictures. Whenever I post a picture on Twitter, I'll get like, I don't know,
Basically, no one sees it.
10 or 15 favorites or whatever,
Yeah.
and then I'll get you know, I don't
Retweets?
like a couple comments, and then maybe a retweet or two. When I post something on Instagram, if
Thousands.
the objective is to interact with y'all, then you're telling me
Comments,
that Instagram
likes,
is the way to go.
All that kind of stuff.
Lots more comments, lots more likes, lots more interaction with the community that I'm trying to engage with. So I don't know what it is exactly. Maybe it's the...
And honestly, I find Instagram conversations are garbage.
Yeah.
Twitter conversations are worse.
Yeah.
So it's actually easier to follow the conversation for me on Instagram, which is ridiculous. But
It's like the
is.
lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally, everyone would just join the Linus Tech Tips forum.
Yeah, to be honest. I was trying to reply to someone on YouTube the other day, and it broke all my formatting right when I posted. I was like, oh, God, please just post on the forum.
And the thing that kills me is half the people... You know what? There seems to be a direct correlation between the people on YouTube who make me mad and the people on YouTube who have the reply disabled on their profile. Because half the time, more than half the time... Ooh, wow. A lot of the time, I want to reply to someone on YouTube because I'm like, yeah, you are completely wrong about everything you just said. And the internet is making me mad. There's no reply. And,
Yeah.
and a lot of the time, too, the particularly out there ones have solicited a reply and just have no idea that I can never reply to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you ever get that, Paul, where someone's just like, Paul, this thing you did was so stupid, and blah, 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 and then there's just no reply button, and so you're just kind of sitting there going, well, I'd love to set the record straight, but...
It's definitely happened both ways. I mean, I hate it when somebody actually has a legitimate, like, question or comment or something that I do want to reply to, and I'm like, I can't.
Even if it's completely positive, it's like, I can't help you.
I
I'll try to like fake-o @tag people, and deep down inside, I'm like, you're never gonna see this. I'm trying to help, but there's no way you're coming back unless you get an email or whatever. So, oh well.
Well, I think that's pretty much it for the topics that we really have today. How are things going, Paul? Or should we do this after party?
Yeah.
Okay. So thanks guys for watching the show today. We're gonna go ahead and roll our outro, and we'll be back with an after party for as long as Paul here can join us with his fan testing wall of fanness, which you guys can't see because I didn't set the thing right. Whatever. The point is the show's over. All right, our sponsors. Lynda.com, sexy learning. iFixit, sexy fixing.
I'm not even gonna correct those.